Do you want to know how to get the property owner's information, how much they owe on their mortgage, what their mailing address is, what their phone number is? In today's video, we're going to be showing you exactly how to do that using a platform I use called PropStream. That way you're going to be on your way to find your first deal by contacting these property owners and asking them if they're looking to sell. If you haven't already, make sure you download my free guide that I go over in detail of the step-by-step of how I went from negative $30,000 on my first flip to over $300,000 from flipping and wholesaling in one of the most expensive markets in America, which is Honolulu, Hawaii, last year. Go to the link in the description below and download that free guide. Welcome to session 2 of the Lion Challenge. We're going to go over gathering property owner data and finding property owners' phone numbers. So a lot of this is going to be directly in PropStream itself, and I'm just going to show you how to use the software. Gathering property owner data. Me personally, my first 3 months of wholesaling and flipping in Hawaii, I called 100,000 people. 100,000 people, and all of that was found through PropStream. Out of those 100,000 people, because Hawaii is such a unique market and it's a little bit more competitive than most, it is a huge volume game. You have to call a lot of people, and of those 100,000 people, I ended up 0.01% of those people ended up wanting to sell, and of those 0.01, I went on, I think, like 7 appointments and got no deals under contract. It does take time. I didn't really have anybody to help me try to close the deals, which is why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys close these deals. If you guys have a hot lead, I want to help you guys close that. So remember, it's a volume game. PropStream is a great resource where you can pull 10,000 records a month. And they also have all of the property owner data on there. So detailed down to their mailing address, when they bought their property, what kind of loan they have on it, what's the interest rate, how much is left on it, and all different kinds of data that you're going to need. In this software, you'll be able to pull different types of sellers. So they have lists for divorce, they have lists for pre-foreclosure, they have lists for all of the vacant properties in Hawaii or any other market. The reason why I really like PropStream is because if you're trying to do this nationwide, they have all the data for it. Whereas a lot of other data companies, they don't have the data nationwide. They just have like certain states, and one record is essentially one property owner / one property address. PropStream gives you the ability to get 10,000 records a month, and you can pull a list. Let's say you have a pre-foreclosure list and there's like 10,500 people on that list. You can filter it a little bit more to get that 10,000. Another thing I really like about PropStream is that you can do what's called driving for dollars. So I talked to a couple people at the meetup about driving for dollars, and you're able to use the mobile app to add houses to your favorites. First things first is, how do you find these property owners' phone numbers? It's through something called skip tracing. Skip tracing is the act of researching public records to locate a person. You can obtain phone numbers, email addresses, mailing addresses, and other information on the person, usually when you skip trace them. I'm going to show you guys how to use PropStream itself. First things first, let's talk about the Driving for Dollars app. So if you download PropStream as a mobile app, it's going to look like this photo on the right here. At the bottom, there's going to be a menu, and there's this option right here that says Drive. If you select Drive, you'll be able to select just drive. And as you start to drive around, you're going to see a little blue dot, and this little blue dot is going to follow you around as you drive. And all you need to do is, when you find a property that looks like it could be a potential good property, you select the property, and then you press the little heart. When you press the little heart, it adds it to your favorites. And that's going to allow you to pull that list later. And again, I'll show you guys how to pull that list. But this is like super efficient, because when I was first getting started driving for dollars, guys, I had a notebook that I would just write down all the addresses, and you can just imagine how difficult that was, because not only did I have to get my phone and look and make sure I have the right address, because sometimes there's no address on the front of the house. So I'm like looking at my phone, looking at Google Maps, trying to figure out what the address is, looking at the street, and then I have to grab my notebook and write it down. And this gives you the opportunity to just drive around, and literally as soon as you pull up right in front of the house, you select it, add it, and then you keep moving. It becomes super efficient. And then once you're done driving, it's automatically added to your favorites list. Now, like I said, if you don't have the time to drive around and you rather just get a list from PropStream, you can go directly on PropStream itself and download a file. So let me show you guys how to do that. Okay, so this is the PropStream interface. Essentially, it has all of these different states here. So you can look up any different state, and typically you want to look it up by the county. So a lot of you guys are here in Hawaii, so I'm going to just go by Honolulu County. So we'll go ahead and search Honolulu County. This gives you every single property in Honolulu County. So you can see there, 321,123. So I ended up calling 1/3 of the people on this island in that first 3 months. And essentially through this software, you can get a list of everybody on this island, including you if you own a house yourself, like you're on here. This is how you're going to pull a list. So you can see at the top here, there's all different types of filters that you can do here. So let's just go through a couple of them. MLS, that just means it's listed on the MLS. Pre-foreclosures, it means they're about to go into foreclosure, but it's the initial process of it. Here's all the properties that are currently at auction that you can buy. Here's all the properties that are owned by a bank. So they've already taken back the property. They went through foreclosure and now it's owned by the bank. When you're wholesaling, you can also find cash buyers. So if you need a list of every single cash buyer, every cash transaction that has happened in Honolulu County, that's this list right here. Liens, do they owe any money? So this can be an HOA lien or a tax liens. So let's say, for example, that the property owner has not paid their taxes and there's a lien on the property because of that, that's going to end up here. Or they haven't paid their HOA fees, that's going to also end up here. Properties that are vacant. You can imagine that if a property is sitting vacant and they're not collecting any money on it, they might be a little bit motivated. And so this is that vacant list. Another one is high equity. If you're doing things in volume, high equity is always a good list to do because typically when they have high equity, there's a possibility that you can wholesale it. They're going to cash out on a lot of money. They probably bought it a while ago. But there's so many different types of searches that you can do here. So let's just narrow it down a little bit. Let's say I want high equity. So now we went from 331,000 to 255,000. Now I'm going to try to narrow it down to 10,000. Typically you want to stack a couple different motivations on it. So now in Honolulu County, we have 255,000 with high equity. Now we can kind of look through these filters here and determine what that really means. So let's say I want those with high equity and I want it to be non-owner occupied. So typically somebody who's not living in it, they're going to be less emotionally attached to that property if they're not living in it. So now I'm going to add another filter. I'm going to say not owner occupied. Let's see how much I have now. Now we're down to 102,000. Perfect. We got to filter it down a little bit more. So let's see what other filters that we could put here. Let's say we determined our crystal clear criteria a couple of days ago, right? So let's say I only want to invest in single family houses. I don't want any condos. I don't want any land. So I'm going to go to the property type here and I'm going to click single family houses. Now, how much do we have? 32,563. Great. We narrowed this down a lot. And well, we're trying to hit that 10,000, right? So that it's included with the subscription. So let's narrow it down even more. MLS status. I don't want it on the market. I want to make sure that it's not on the market. So right now it's any, it could either be on the market or not. And what the on the market means is just it's listed with a realtor. So let's do no, not listed on the market. How much did we narrow it down? Looks like just about the same. So we're going to have to add a little bit more. MLS status, days on market, listed below. Let's do never listed. This is probably somebody who has owned this property for a while. And the reason why I'm thinking never listed is because if you think about what we have here, non-owner occupied, probably a rental, right? Probably somebody who's renting out the property. And if it was never listed, I'm thinking this is an old landlord. Somebody who has owned a property for a long time, doesn't live in there, is renting it out, and they're probably tired of being a landlord. Not only that, they probably haven't fixed it for a while. So there's opportunity to add some value. So let's click never listed. Let's see where we're at now. 25,000. Perfect. We just knocked out another 10,000. Okay, let's add a little bit more. Okay. Years of ownership, owner type. So I don't want corporate mixed. I don't mind a trust. Usually an individual is going to be somebody who's easier to skip trace. An LLC is a little bit more difficult to skip trace. So let's try individual. What are we at? 8,733. Perfect. Now that's a list that I want to pull. Now we have 8,733 selected. Essentially, when you add it to a list, you're going to be able to select what list you're going to want to add it to. And once you're able to select what list you want to add it to, you can create a new list and just name it whatever you want. Once you add that, you can go to My Properties here on the left, and your list is going to show up here. Let's say, for example, I have this lien list. If I have a lien list that I pulled, what you can do to download the list so that you can send it to get skip trace is, again, you just select all of this right here and you export, and then you download it. And you want to make sure that you download it. It should save automatically as a CSV. So you'll be able to get that list. Now you see here 179 properties exported. You have 10,000 properties left to export for this billing period. It's probably because I've already exported this before. But if I exported a brand new list, then it would tell me 9,821 left. But yeah, that's how you would export it. Or you can do it manually on True People Search. If you want to do it for free, you can manually look for all of these people. That's going to take a very long time, but if that's what you want to do, by all means. But when I had mentioned about the driving for dollars, if you guys did the driving for dollars where you drove around, you selected the property, added it to your favorites by pressing on that heart, it's going to show up here at the bottom. So all of your mobile lists here, mobile favorites, and you can do the same thing. You select it and you export it. Same exact thing.
Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to be on these videos live, go to the link in the description below to sign up. Aloha y'all, see you on the next video. Shoot!